Good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. My name is Bill Soroka, founder of NotaryCoach.com and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. And I'm here with two very special co-hosts and a third on the way here in just a moment. First, we have Beth Hathut, an instructor from Notary Stars, an all-around amazing human being and notary trainer. Beth, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, and I'll pay you later, Bill. Thanks for the intro. My name is Beth Hathut. If you don't know me, I'm an instructor at Notary Stars. I'm in my third year with them, so I'm feeling like I know something.
Yes.
Maybe. I've been a notary for over 21 years, almost 22 years now. I wanted to just make mention that if you're not a member of Notary Stars, pop over to notarystars.com. There's a ton of free training on that website. We're also a listing site. So if you want to set up a profile there for a $10 annual fee, you can do that as well. But we'd love to have you. We've got over 150 hours worth of video recorded training, as well as live training 4 days a week, sometimes 5, depends on whether we have an event. And of course, we have tons of free events for you as well. Thanks for having me, Bill.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Beth. And I love the conversation we were having in the green room before we went live today with our next co-host, Dashika Hill. Dashika was saying that she oftentimes sends her contacts that are new to the industry or feeling things out to Notary Stars and Beth over there just to get a feel for it. So Dashika Hill, you might know from Clubhouse, various other trainings, plus she is the founder and creator of the Michigan Notary Consortium. And she is so passionate about taking your business to the next level through going the extra mile in customer service for your customers, plus so much more. Dashika, come on up and tell everybody about you.
Good afternoon, good people. Thank you, Bill. You are really, really kind. I am excited about being here with you all today. As Bill said, I am one of the founders of Michigan Notary Consortium. I am the face, the voice, and the the go-getter behind it. I am excited about sharing with you all of those tidbits and niches to help drive your customer service. And if you have not taken a drive through Notary Stars, get behind the wheel and really experience it, along with the other tools that Bill and the team has to offer. So thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for making time for us, Dashika. I appreciate that. And I see that our regular, amazing, fabulous co-host of TNT is in the house, Laura Biewer. Thank you so much for being here. You know Laura from CoachMeLaura.com, but I'm going to bring her up so she can introduce herself. Hey, Laura.
Hey, guys. So glad to see you all today. It's a beautiful day in Clovis, California. That's where I'm at, teaching a notary class, but always have enough time to join you. If you don't know me, my name is Laura Biewer. I am the founder of Coach Me Laura, and my purpose is to develop competent and confident notaries in whatever way you use your commission. And so glad that you joined us today.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Laura. I'm so glad that you could be here even whenever you're teaching. Really appreciate that commitment. And we're going to roll in. We have 4 hosts today. So that's 4 different perspectives with many, many, many years of experience, not only in notary work, but as professionals and entrepreneurs in the world. So this is a great time, the perfect time to ask those questions about getting your business to the next level. You want to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. That might be different depending on the device and the version that you have, but usually if you hover over my face right now with your mouse, a little toolbar will open up along the bottom of the screen. There is a button that says reactions, has a little smiley face on it. If you click that, there's a big bar that says raise hand. That's the one. You can raise your hand there and we'll call on you. When we call on you, please tell us what state you're from. Get right to your question and ask your question so we have plenty of time to hear everybody's questions. And then you can put yourself on mute and we will volley the question between the incredible panelists that you have at your fingertips today. So there's no hands up right now. So I'm going to talk even slower so that you have plenty of time to raise your hand and ask your questions. Here's what we got for you today. We got Dashika Hill, who has built a business and a training platform and an event around focusing on ways that you can go the extra mile in customer service. If you want to hear what that looks like, ask some questions about customer service. What are some things that you could do to help yourself stand out as not just a mobile notary, but as a credentialed professional? Then you have Laura Biewer, of course. We call her the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest of all time for a reason. She's an expert in all 50 states about notary law and creating a sustainable business. She's in business, I always say 17 years, Laura, but I think we're at 19 years
19
now.
years.
19
Yep.
years. So
Jen-
19 years as a mobile notary and loan signing agent and coach and instructor. And there's some other things in there too, right, Laura?
Yeah,
Plus
dog
an executive before
rescuer.
that.
and- Yeah, I did have a life before that too.
Hard to imagine.
Hard to imagine.
And then we have Beth, who just told you that she's got 22 years as a mobile notary and loan signing agent and instructor. So these are the types of people that you want to be asking questions of today. So let's get those hands in the air and get to our first one. Jen Cooper, how's it going in California?
It's going really well, guys. Bill, I love your shirt.
Thank you. I'll pay
I
you
want
later.
to ask a question.
Yes.
I want to ask a question of Laura. I'm pretty sure this is a Laura question. I just had an appointment, literally just driving away. The man called me to hire me to do a POA. He called me about it.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat here, Jen.
I know.
Called you about
You froze.
the drama
I'm-
of it.
I'm sorry,
You've been
I'm driving.
practicing your YouTube. Okay, go. You have our attention.
No, can you guys still hear me? I'm going to pull over so I stay in
Yeah.
one zone.
Yep.
Okay, so he called me for a power of attorney. Then he called me a half hour before our appointment and said the power of attorney is called a certified trust, which is, I know the difference between these two things. I told him that wasn't a power of attorney, but we'll check it out when I get there. When I got there, he had all these documents printed out. Somebody told him a certified trust is the same as a power of attorney, which I know it's not, and that he needs to get a power of attorney. His fiance who died, he needs a power of attorney over her finances and wanted me to create a power of attorney. My question, I know the answer to all this stuff. Is it wrong to advise him the difference between these documents and why one works and one doesn't? Is that crossing legal boundaries?
So, you can give general information about documents just as anybody could Google and find out information about how a POA designates somebody, although it dies with the person. So it's no
Mhm.
longer usable once they're gone. I think very simple pieces of information about that is fine. What crosses into the unauthorized practice of law is when we tell them, in your case, this is what you need to do, right? We can't be specific about that,
Okay.
but it is
Um,
okay to describe documents.
Well, when he gave me the letter from the insurance and it said we need a power of attorney for the estate of so-and-so. And I told him, I can't notarize a power of attorney. She has to sign it and she's not here. He didn't even understand how that works. I just want to make sure I wasn't crossing any boundaries.
No, I mean,
Telling him,
it can be a slippery slope about how much we say. So we have to really be sure we hold ourselves back from sharing everything that we know about a document.
Okay.
But I think what I would have advised him, since the insurance company said that's what they needed, is I would have said, you probably need to call them to find out exactly what document they're looking for. What would that look like? Do they have a sample of that?
Yeah.
And let him
Okay.
get more from the requesting agency.
that is what I ultimately did. But I just wanted to make sure that saying this is and this isn't wasn't crossing any boundaries.
Like I said, as long as you say
Thank you.
general in there. Beth, what about you?
You're on mute there, Beth.
I'm such a good girl. I've even Googled it in front of them, knowing that it is kind of a fine line that we walk and say, well, I don't know about that. Let's see. And obviously, referring them back to the insurance company would have been a wise move for sure. But that's the problem we have sometimes when our customers don't really understand all they think they do about the document that they need to have taken care of. So it's kind of tricky sometimes. So yeah.
I love that suggestion, Beth, to Google right in front of them. Because if it's
Yeah, that's
publicly
good.
accessible information, you can point them in the right direction, right? Just as Laura was suggesting. But here's the thing. There's two things that pop into my head. One is the language we choose, even when we're asking a question like this. Because if there are attorneys listening, or if you're talking to an attorney and you use the word advise, is it okay to advise them on that? That word automatically is going to trigger red flags. So we don't want to say advise. No, we don't offer advice. We briefly describe the document or give a description of the document. And the other heartbreaking part about working in this field, especially in the estate planning arena, when those documents come up, is very oftentimes, more so than not, because we know the statistics of who has an estate plan and who doesn't, who has their affairs in order and who doesn't. These insurance companies or banks are asking for documents that allow the person still alive to access the account. So they're saying, I just need your financial POA, but the person's passed away and they didn't have those things. So you got people scrambling to get these documents. And this is where we oftentimes see fraud, whether it's good intentions or not, but it's still fraud because the person's passed away. Or you see the reality slap them in the face. I should have had this in order and I didn't, and I don't know what to do. And sometimes they're learning that at the appointment with you.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks for
it.
sparking that great conversation. No more hands raised. I think we're going to wrap up here, guys. I think we're done, right, Laura? Is that it?
Hey, yeah, I'm ready to have lunch.
All right, let's keep those hands up in the air right now. I'm going to bring Dashika up too. Dashika, you have your Michigan Consortium event, and I'd like you to just tell people about that event. May 19th to the 21st. It's coming up so soon, but this is so much fun. I'm bummed I'm missing it, and that dinner cruise. But Dashika, can you tell everybody listening a little bit about that event and where they can go to sign up?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the Michigan Notary Consortium is celebrating our inaugural conference May 19th through the 21st in Detroit. So we're downtown Detroit, and that event kicks off on Friday with a networking social. So what are you expecting? You're expecting an experience, right? You're expecting from anywhere from inspiring to be a notary all the way through. You're a notary, you've been in the game for a few years, you've seen the loan signing dry up. What else can I do? So the conference is geared towards the power of the pen. It is more than loan signing as a notary, and we wanted to bring that collectively to Michigan to inspire, to teach.
Hi, my ID number. Oh, hold on.
Oh, sorry about that. Go on that, Dashika.
No worries, no worries. And so many people ask, well, I've been a notary for many years. How can I be inspired at your conference? Well, if you've been a notary, there are I've identified 11 different ways you can use your pen to grow your business. And I think people get tired of hearing me talk. So I've asked what I told Bill, I called the GOATs. I've called those who are really, really experienced in driving what it takes to have the power of the pen, whether it's remote or whether it's, live pen, the ink pen. Yeah. So Friday, we have the networking social that kicks off from 6 to 9. We have a couple speakers that will help drive that networking social. And then we have that morning, we start breakfast at 8 a.m. and 8 a.m. we have what I call the advocacy breakfast. There's a lot of things that are changing in the notary business. In Michigan, we have 2 bills that are on the floor for voting. And what we did was we reached out to our legislation, the senators, the Congress, our local state representatives to come and have breakfast with us, hear from the notary community how those 2 bills will affect our community. And so during that, we'll have those question and answers, those definitions, or how it affects us. But also during breakfast, we are giving 3 awards to exceptional notaries, whether you were community nominated, whether you were just an exceptional individual, whether you gave back to your community, supported other notaries. It's 3 awards. We did nominations for about 6 months, and it was a hard run. So I'm excited about what we are going to present to those winners. And then the workshops and the sessions. It's a full day. And then that evening, we mellow back out. We do what is a dinner cruise, and that is on international waters. Michigan bumps right up to Canada, and so you're able to see Canada and experience that whole dinner cruise with the Motown experience and all those things. So it's a packed weekend of knowledge, inspiration, and networking. I hope to see you there.
I love it. And Dashika, just for the record, because it's in the chat, but for those watching the replay, where can they go to register or learn more?
Absolutely. So if you visit MichiganNotaryConsortium.com, it says ready to register. And I want you to put in the code TITAN, TITAN, and you will receive a discount for your registration. Now, full registration is $200, and that gets the kit, caboodle, and the horse. But if you only want the kit, or you only want the caboodle, or you just want the horse, you can pick whichever portion of this conference you want to experience.
Awesome, Dashika. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for you. And Dashika will be back again next week, of course, to share this as well as we get closer and closer to that event date. What I love about
some of our speakers are on the line here.
Yeah, I see them coming up too. I know we
got. I'm excited about it. We have Phil, and Judy is. Yes, Sue. The sponsors are on the line also. I'm excited. Yes, Amy and
Amy's here as well. I love it.
Yeah, we have what I call a really, really great lineup for you. I don't know it all. I never proclaim to know it all, but what I did is I pulled together the team that does. So you really, really have great knowledge coming to you.
Yeah, I love it, Dashika, and we'll love these hands up in the air. So we're going to get to these here in just a moment. But what I'm really impressed with, and this is just a great example, Dashika, what you're doing in Michigan is what Keith Ferrazzi calls leading without authority. You don't need somebody to come in to Michigan and designate you as the person who has the authority now to go out and create awards for the notary community, or to create or to reach out to the legislators that are making decisions that affect your business and the role that you play. You're just taking that on yourself. And I think the lesson I hear as you speak and demonstrate this is that every single one of us listening to this is empowered to do exactly the same thing in our own network, in our own state, in our own city. Nobody has to come by and knight you as the person who has the authority to lead their community. You just take that on yourself. So thank you for demonstrating that for us. Let's hear some of these questions. Got amazing hands up in the air. Phil Shannon, of course, is here. Hey, Phil.
Hey guys, great to see everybody. And I just wanted to chime in on Dashika's event. We've been working a little bit hand in hand with it the last few months. We're so excited. Judy Lawrence will be, I hope she's listening. I have one of those flights, Judy, that I'm not sure if I'm going to get a seat or not, but my hope is that I will be there in time. I'm coming a day early. So like Philly Social, I never knew for sure that I really had a seat, but I did. And I'm looking forward to being in
Are
Detroit. I've
you,
never
are
been to
you,
Detroit.
are you going to have a seat or are you going to be on the floor? This is what we need to know.
Well, we'll find out. For the price that I paid, I think I might be on the floor, but as long as I get there, that's
Duct tape to the wing, Phil.
that might be it. I make it work, but I'm really excited about being there. I'm with a lot of great people. I always enjoy hanging out with a bunch of fabulous entrepreneurs, business people, and it's going to be a great event. I'm just excited about all the things that she's done to prepare this. I know Jashika it's stressful. Anyone who's run one of these events before, you know, it's scary. It's very scary. She's done a great job. So I look forward to being there, and I look forward to you joining me 5 minutes after today's TNT, Tuesday Notary Titans. 5 minutes after TNT, I will be there. If you need to get the link to the information, please feel free to text me. And I know Bill's probably already put the information in the chat, although now he's looking at me like, no, I don't know, have you? But oh yes, he's on it as well. I know you are, I know. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to let the good times roll because I see Sue Hope and Judy and so many wonderful people. So I don't want to take the stage too much. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Phil. Hey, Sue, welcome up.
Hello, happy Tuesday. My goodness, how is everybody? It's so good to see everybody. Woo-hoo!
I feel like it's been forever, Sue. Where have you been?
I have been like head down helping taxes. Then I took a cruise to get away and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I also wanted to piggyback on and say, Jashika, you're doing a great job. I can't even imagine what you're going through right now because all these little things are trying to fall into place, but you've got this. I can't wait to be with you virtually. And I will be sharing all sorts of marketing tips and how to help market your notary business at her consortium. So I'm very excited. But I also wanted to pop in and say how much I appreciate MBB for helping us vet some of our new technology. And you guys were really, you stepped it up. You really helped us iron out some of the kinks. We launched it live. So everybody now has the new import feature. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a little something else hidden in our release, and it's the templating. I didn't talk about that too much, but we now have some templates that you can build out an email. So if you're a RON platform and you need specific criteria and you need your signer to have all their ducks in a row, you can send out a nice email. You can create your template. Once your template's set up, you can store those templates so that you can use them over and over. So the things that you might need for an AMROC signing might be different than a bank surge signing. You might need different information for the attorney when you're doing the estate planning documents. You might need something for a RON signing. So all your different platforms that you might host or that you might work with, you can now separate a template for Cyberize it, for Notarize, and so on. I'm super jazzed. We have new tools for you to make your life easier and save time. So hopefully you will be playing with these new features. If you have any questions about those new features, give us a shout. But we really wanted to give some serious love back to the NBBers who helped us vet our technology and make sure that it was ready for release. So cheers. Thank you so much for working with us and to help push our technology forward.
Awesome, Sue. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad the NBB community in particular could help out with that. So thanks for giving us a first look at that. Absolutely love that. And congratulations on your new release. Check out notaryassist.com. If you're not already a Notary Assist member, you can check it out there. And I also posted that link in the chat. What I love about you, Sue, I mean, so many things, but in particular with Notary Assist is that you're never sitting on your haunches, like just letting things be. You are constantly in a state of growth and always improving the technology to make things better and easier for your users. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you, because you're the one telling everybody how to keep growing their business and to not sit still. So you're keeping me busy.
Sorry about that. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much. So here's the thing. We don't have any hands in the air, but we've got this much amazing knowledge on this call that I'm going to pull up our panelists one by one. And Dashika, I'd love to start with you, and I'll put you in the hot seat here for a minute. But if you had, let's say, one piece of advice for going the extra mile, and even if it turned into 3 pieces of advice, that's okay, just to help you stand out from a customer service perspective with a client you love working with, what would it be?
Okay, so looking at your customer base, you have your client and your signer, and sometimes they're one and the same, whether you're doing general notary work or you're doing specialty work. The thing for me is being transparent both ways. If you are doing specialty work and you're with the signer, that client needs to know the details of what's happening within that particular appointment. The other thing is not just being transparent, but also making sure that your signer and your customer is comfortable with whatever transaction is happening. What does that mean? What does that look like? I think a lot of notaries have come away from your confirmation calls. And your confirmation call is absolutely important. If it's general notary work, being transparent during that confirmation call, the individual does not know you. They need to be comfortable with you. They need to know not who you are and all. They don't need to be personal with you, but they need to know, one, that you are human, right? And they need to know whatever they're about to encounter is going to be seamless, it's going to be right, and it needs to be friendly. A lot of times we are coming away from those confirmation calls or that transparency to make our client and our signer comfortable.
That's a really good point, because so often we either we answer the phone off the cuff, or we just assume that everybody knows how great we are, or we assume that they know what the notary experience is going to be. But taking a few extra steps to really paint that picture of what to expect is so important. Do you have a specific flow for what that looks like, or certain questions you ask, or a certain term or phrase that you use to put people at ease?
It's become robotic for me when I'm receiving calls, emails, or texts for specialty work. I try not to take the wording just for what it is in the confirmation. You need to make sure, one, that you are understanding what you are about to do. So when you are approaching your signer, this is what I understand we're doing. This is what I will come do. This is what I need to have prepared. So that flow is, I'll pretend I'm on a call. Best way to do it, right?
Yeah.
This is Dashika. This is your notary. You want to make it personal. This is your notary that's coming to your home. I'm coming to your home, right? Yes, no, I'm going to Starbucks. However, that is at whichever address. If you're coming to my home, I need to know if you have pets, please secure them. Make sure that the ID is valid. All these things we're supposed to know, right? But not only that, a lot of times individuals are receiving funds. A lot of times they're sending funds. They think just knowing their routing number or account number is sufficient. No, we need address, phone numbers, getting more into details so that way they're not unprepared when they get to the table, right? So you want to make sure they're prepared for what's about to happen. How long is the appointment? Well, I blocked an hour. If we take the whole hour, no rush. If you don't need the full hour, you have, however more time for your day. A lot of times people think they have to rush. A lot of times people think they have all day to read the documents or whichever, whether it's a power of attorney, whether it's a living trust, or mom is about to suffer from surgery, encounter surgery, whichever your appointment is. If you're at the hospital, that is absolutely the time you need to be empathetic and sympathetic. So during your call, if it's a general notary and someone my mom is in a hospital, we need these documents signed. Show empathy and show sympathy, but you need to let them know what will happen during that signing. Transparency is absolutely important.
All right, Dashika, thank you so much for that. I agree. And I think that humanness and the empathy is so important in these appointments. And I think you can balance it. You can have empathy, compassion, sympathy, even if it calls for it, and set healthy boundaries. So thank you for sharing that. Any other questions? Let's keep those hands up, guys. A quiet crowd here today, but I'm going to jump over to Beth. Beth has so many years of experience along these lines. Beth, what advice would you have for someone, for a notary who wants to create a business that's going to last through the years?
Well, be proficient and persistent. I'm telling you that I feel like there are notaries out there that just give up too soon, right? They're just learning and wading through how to be a notary, how to do loan signings, how to do living trusts. And then by the time they're really becoming visible in their community, they give up. They give up too soon. Persistency. You've got to have some of that education that helps you learn how to market your notary business. You can't just hang up your shingle. This is not a field of dreams. You know, you don't build it and they will come. You have to tell them where you are, right? And don't give up. Just keep plugging away at it. So much of what we do is built on longevity. People start to remember your name. They know who you are. They know that you're pro-friendly is a word I use. You're professional and friendly. And just hang in there. Just do the work that it takes to build your business, and just don't give up too soon.
I love that advice, because that's solid and so true so many times. But Beth, we're not all superheroes, right? I think every single one of us, especially on this panel, has had questions or questioned their life decisions, and maybe even thought about quitting, or maybe even quit a few times. Have you experienced that? And if you did, how did you pull yourself out of it and stay in the persistent frame of mind?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm the worst one at promoting myself. I am never going to be the person that I can walk up to somebody and say, I am the greatest. I can do this. I can help you. I am the only one who can pull you out of this. I've never been a good salesman. And yeah, I was at a turning point where I just knew that I went to sleep. I was doing so well, and then suddenly I woke up and I wasn't doing so well. You always have to feed that monster. You have to, every day. You have to network. You have to engage in some type of advertising. You just have to do a little bit, even if you're not that salesperson that says, I can sell sandals to an Eskimo. It's easy for me. It's not easy for me, but those little steps that you do consistently along the way really snowball in the end. It's just persistent consistency.
It's so true. And when I hear you talk, I can hear what you're saying is planting seeds for the future every single day. So Beth, I think, again, we can all relate. Things are going so good. And then it's like overnight, somebody turns off our phone and it's just crickets on the phone line. But just when hope is lost, have you ever been blindsided by one of the seeds you planted 6 months ago, 2 years before, whatever it might be, and it just reignites you?
That 6 degrees of separation, guys, you may never see what you've done or how you've connected or started the ball rolling until months, weeks, years later. There's always something that pops up and says, oh my God, I saw you 6 years ago at blah, 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 or you signed my loan signing 3 years ago, and you were so fabulous that I can't believe I found you now. I did a signing. And the woman decided she wanted to become a notary. And I said, contact me anytime, I'll try and help you. I never heard from her, but 2.5 years later, she's in my classes, and I'm going, praise God. We found each other again. So it can be something like that, or it can be somebody who ends up going into the mortgage business, or maybe they're in the mortgage business and you didn't realize it. And a few weeks later, they're calling you, they're giving you their business, they're recommending you to your signing agents, or I mean to the escrow title officers. And what happens, there's a lady who told me, she said, I sprinkle, we have it on a community tip on our YouTube channel. I sprinkled my business cards around like pixie dust, is what she said. She puts her business cards everywhere, and she will tell you that once these business cards get picked up and she gets discovered, she's amazed at where the cards that she left were found by the people she got the calls from. She put a business card in the credit card slot in the gas pump. She does that every time she gets gas.
Yeah.
She's gotten more calls from the gas pump. So it's just
brilliant.
Yeah.
amazing, amazing thing.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Beth, because that's the thing. Like, if you need an affirmation to keep you going and just to paint the picture, one of the things that helped me get clarity on it is that I would wake up and say, somebody in this town needs my services. My job today is to find that person. And as you're seeking, as you're having those conversations, you're planting seeds, whether you're sticking your business card in the gas pump or you're actually having a conversation, all of those things put you in the arena. And in that arena is where the intersection of people, ideas, opportunity collide with you and makes things happen. But you can't do it from your couch. You got to get out there and you got to do that. Sometimes you can do it from your couch, but you got to be proactive in it, right? You're reaching out via email, LinkedIn messages, DMs, whatever it might be. One of my favorite stories that demonstrate what you're talking about, Beth, is I had to make the really hard decision one time to fire one of my clients. They had tons of volume. I mean, it was 6 figures a year. It's easily $100,000 a year client just from that one escrow officer, just killing it. But the files were a complete mess. I was stressed out. Then I would get blamed for the organization of the documents. I would be trapped into these weird situations where there was divorce and like stuff happening. And it was just impacting my business. So I had to make the decision to let that go, but I was terrified. I thought I was going to go out of business if I did that. And within 2 weeks of letting that client go, I automatically started loving my business a little bit more. But within 2 weeks, I get this phone call from a lady who received my business card from two years earlier at a networking event. And she was now promoted from escrow officer to VP of an entire division of an escrow office. And she had heard great things about me. So she wanted me to come in for a meeting. And that led to a multiple 6-figure opportunity, just like that within 2 weeks, because of a card I left or a meeting I attended 2 years before. So that's why we say, tell everyone about your business. Wake up and tell everyone about your business. Yeah, maybe they're not calling you at 6 p.m. the same day to give you $100,000 worth of business, but you're planting those seeds so that at some point it's going to start coming back to you. That's how you get it done.
You know, Bill, there's one other thing I just wanted to mention, and
Yeah.
it's a process that a lot of different companies or areas of life employ, and you can look at race car drivers, motorcycle riders, downhill skiers. They always tell you whatever you focus on is what your target is. Okay, so as that skier is going down the slope and there are boulders and moguls and pine trees and stuff, he's not focusing on the trees. Because then that becomes a target and he's going to hit that target. He's not going to make his goal of getting down the slope. He focuses on the trail. A motorcycle rider is not focusing on the guardrail as he's going around that windy mountain road because he's going to hit that guardrail. It becomes a target. So just focus on where you want to be and don't focus on the negative stuff. It will fall away and it will fall behind you and you will hit your target.
Awesome. Great advice, Beth, and so true. So true. All right, Shayla, thank you so much for your patience.
Yeah.
I saw your hand go up. What can we do to help you today in Colorado?
Yeah, I had a question when it comes to working with the elderly and like reverse mortgage signings. Was it, I had this question asked of me from somebody that does do, the lender side on reverse mortgages. And the question was, as a notary, is it permissible for me to like print their name and like do their dates, as long as they're doing that signature piece, just because there is so much of that documentation in the reverse mortgage packet?
Yeah, great question, Shayla, and such a real challenge, especially when you have a compassionate heart. But Laura, I'm going to bounce this one over to you because I know this is up your alley. Plus, we talk about this quite often. Laura, what do you say?
My understanding is that they have to date their own documents and that we are not allowed to date for them. As a matter of fact, not even a spouse is supposed to date for them, although I've seen that happen. But it was definitely not the notary. We really can't be filling out anything in the document portion of the document.
Okay.
It's a really slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured that was the answer, but I figured I would just throw it out to you guys since you've been doing this longer.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for asking the question.
You bet.
All right. Michelle, welcome. Telling everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm from New Jersey. I have a question on foreign documents. I had a notarization 3 days ago, and it was a foreign document. I didn't ask when I confirmed the appointment if the document was in English or in a different language. However, the NNA was closed, and I refunded the client because the entire document was in French. So my question is, can I use the translation on my phone to scan the document and see the translation of the document, or what I did was just correct? There wasn't even the verbiage for notarization or anything was in English. The entire document was in French. So how would I proceed in a situation like that?
Yeah, great question, Michelle. I'm going to bring up both Laura and Beth here in just a moment. Laura, you want to take our first approach?
Yeah, so I always start with, you're in New Jersey, I think is what you said. And what does New Jersey say about notarizing a foreign language document? So that's always where I'm going to start. And if the answer is they don't address it, or they say, as long as you speak to them, it's okay, then my next thing would be, all right, then I don't really need to understand what their document says. I don't really care. Because that's the document portion, but I do need them to direct me in terms of what kind of notarization they are needing. And that should be your state language certificate. And never fill out a foreign language certificate.
So Laura, you're saying that you would add a loose certificate based on what the signer wants, whether it's an acknowledgement or a
correct. Correct. You should have those available yourself, your state language certificates.
Oh, okay. I had all of that, but just that I couldn't find anything in English. I wasn't sure if to attach a certificate, by asking her what is it that she wanted. It was a procuration document, if I'm pronouncing it right. So I couldn't understand the document of itself. She told me what the document was, but since it didn't have anything in English, not even any notarial verbiage or anything at all in English. I wasn't sure if I could just say, okay, do you need an acknowledgement to Jared, of
Right.
certificate? So what I did instead, because it was 7:30 at night, I just refunded her and tell her that I couldn't understand the document at all.
Right. So Michelle, what Laura is saying is that this is a state specific requirement. So if your state allows for that, you can still do it, but you have to attach your loose certificate in the English language, in your language. And if the state of New Jersey does not allow for that foreign language document, then you would do exactly what you did.
I think it feels so cool.
Thank you.
You bet. Beth, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I find a hot coffee.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going on mute patrol. Who is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's probably me. There's people coming.
Oh, sorry. Beth, I'm sorry. Were you?
Nope, I was just looking through New Jersey's regulations and they don't even make mention, they do a lot of foreign jurisdiction references, but not concerning the document or foreign language. So
you're saying that the law is silent in New Jersey on this, it looks like?
I'm saying they don't specify it in the handbook. So let me clarify here. Sometimes language in our regulations or our laws don't actually get into our handbooks. Sometimes we actually have to look at that regulation, but there's no reference in the handbook to foreign language documents. I have one other thing I can double check here really quick.
I love that resourcefulness, Beth. Thank you. We'll come back at you.
Thank you so much.
You bet. You bet. And then Beth too, if those resources are publicly available, I'd love for us to share with the community how to build your own resource ladder is basically what this is. Like, where can you go to find out these answers when the NNA hotline is closed, when your mentors are closed, when you're not sure if you trust the Facebook group that you're in or not, or you get multiple answers, right? How can you go straight to the horse's mouth, so to speak? All right. So Michelle, Beth's going to look that up. I'll come back to her in just a moment, unless you're ready right now, Beth.
Not quite. You go
Okay,
ahead.
no problem. We'll come back to you. Francis, great to see you on. It's been a while. How can we help?
Yes, it has. All right. So as you, Bill, know, and a few others on the call, I started to focus more on reaching out to estate planning attorneys, and through a local group have made connections, onboarded with one. They used me once, but primarily for a document that needed to be updated. And I've connected with a few others and even met with a representative, what have you, of a couple of different firms, and they all love the concept and of a mobile notary that's trained to go out and do their signings when necessary, so that they're not spending their billable hours, or even if they're a flat rate, naturally their billable hours are calculated into that. But the uptick is or uptake is slow, very slow. And even the first firm that brought me on and loved the idea and printed out their whole template in a binder for me to review, for which I put together a matrix as kind of a cheat sheet for when I do the mobile signings, even had me come in, or I suggested, and they loved the idea of me coming in, watching them do the one of their signings to get familiar with how they approach it, yada, yada. It hasn't kind of taken off yet. And the other, so I'm kind of wondering, what else can I do on that front? And then also, I have been admittedly kind of not avoiding, I just keep rescheduling going out and do that local direct marketing, like right in the neighborhood, ideally, solopreneurs or small practices that don't have staff that are notaries as well. So, kind of what can I do to get past that challenge, if you will, to market to those local estate planning attorneys, within, let's say, a 5-mile radius that are smaller firms or solopreneurs. So it's
All
kind
right.
of a hard question.
Yeah, Francis, thank you for that. I hear two questions there. One is what's up with the slow uptake after they say yes, they want to work with you, but then they're not hiring you to the level that you might want or the volume that you might want. And then the second part is how do you get over the fear of, or the resistance, probably a better word, of marketing to local businesses around you. So I'd love to hear from Dashika on overcoming fear of talking about your business, because that's really what it comes down to, just talking about your business.
It's not so much talking about my business, it's more how to approach that target group. How to talk about my business for that target group would probably be, that's where I'm not feeling comfortable.
Are attorneys or business?
Yeah, estate planning attorneys, I'm comfortable doing it to the extent that I've done it, but to go and do cold call, kind of direct marketing to local, small firms is where I have resistance or a challenge.
Okay, great.
So my first suggestion would be, my first question, do you have an attorney friend, colleague, comrade? Do you have at least one in your phone book that you know personally?
Personally, or that I'm doing signings for?
That you know personally. The reason, I'm gonna connect the dots for you. The reason is attorneys have a specific lingo that they speak. And sometimes when they're communicating with us, we take it as just open communication. We take it as we understand what they're saying. Most times we do. A lot of times they're speaking in their lingo to make sure, one, we understand what their business is, and that's their way of vetting us. They don't have the opportunity or the time to catch us up. So if you have an attorney friend or someone that you can go to and say, this is the market I need to go into. If they say XYZ, how do I communicate well with them? The same way we had to learn how to communicate with our general public, they'll call and say, I need a notary republic. It's not a notary republic. It's a notary public, two separate words, two different words. And so that would be the first thing. The other thing is utilize that personal contact and not shadow, but be where they are. Begin to hear what's going on in those circles, not just for business, because now you want that community to want to recognize you and to come to you. Yes, we want to go to them initially. We need to begin to see them in their spaces, in whether it's a relaxed place or if it's in a professional place, but we need to be where they are. First time they see you, they don't know you. Second time they see you, they remember you. Third time they see you, they're calling on you. Hey, you know what? I remember you're a notary. I need to contact you later, right? Not only that, but when you're in their spaces, don't find a seat. Never find a seat. You're always working the room. You're always communicating, not about what you do. You're communicating what they need. You're listening, that whole listening ear. You're taking notes on what big projects they have on. When they begin to drop names, remember those names, be in those circles. So now the people that they're connected to, you're connected to.
Excellent, Dashika. Thank you for that. Laura, what suggestions would you have on this? There she goes.
Had to unmute. At least I remembered to unmute this time before I gave you all my secrets. So I just really love what Dashika was talking about in terms of being in their space, in their orbit. We talk about it all the time. And that the more we can do that, then the less selling we need to do, right? And so being in their orbit is finding out where are they. And that's what I have done. And that's even today, I continue to do, is to find out where are they so that I am naturally in the inner circle. I'm not coming to them to ask for business, because what I want to be is an equal. What I want to be is somebody they see as a colleague. not as a vendor, not as a vendor coming to ask for business. And so when you're cold calling and you're approaching it that way, that's how it feels. I'm coming in and I'm trying to backhandedly ask for business. And I don't think that is as successful as getting yourself to the inner circle and being a part of that. I think that's what works best. It's not as fast.
Right.
It takes a little more time. So it needs patience to be doing that. And you're investing your time into becoming a part of that community, just like we have a community, they have a community very similar, and you want to get into that community. And for me, my best volume of assignments have been because I was in the community. They just knew of me from other attorneys who knew of me from other attorneys who knew of me because they met me at one of these events, or even my office is down by the courthouse. So I'm running into people all the time, not just estate planning attorneys, but others as well. So being in their environment makes you kind of like you naturally fit there.
I'm really glad you brought this up because I'm doing that, but it's so slow to kind of get that traction. So I'm thinking, well, I should also go out and do some direct marketing locally to let people know I'm in business. I'm a notary, I can help. But it sounds like, if I'm kind of picking it up from both you and Dashika, keep going in that direction where I'm in that circle and associating, getting known, more so than perhaps do direct marketing.
Can
Well,
I make
I'm
sorry, Laura,
what?
I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay, Francis. When you're going direct selling like that, the relationship is starting on a different footing. I'm a vendor asking for business. And what I want to do is build relationships that make me part of their circle to begin with. And we end up becoming business partners in one way or another. It's not that I don't provide notary service, I do, but I do it from a different angle. And so they see me as more than the notary who can fill a job.
Yeah, I love that. So I'll kind of piggyback on both of these too, Francis, because I have experienced this even last year as I was really pivoting my own business and I was reaching out to all these attorneys to grow that side of my personal signing business. I had this resistance to almost this insecurity about reaching out and talking to them. I feel like I'm interrupting them and, oh, they've got a law firm and they're whatever it is. I was making this stuff up in my head. It wasn't even conscious sometimes, but I just had to overcome the resistance. What I learned after having tons of these conversations is that they're not very different than you and I. They're struggling. They're trying to find the magic that makes their business work. So that separation is what caused the most resistance. And when I realized that separation is not really there, that we're very similar in the challenges that we have as a small business owner, and that I believe I can help them. I know that they're in this business or in this line of work because they want to make a difference in the world. They want to make an impact, especially in estate planning, right? There are some people who get into it for the money, but it's usually not the money-making side of law firms. So the people who are doing this, the attorneys who are working in this, the legal professionals that work this, they want to help people. They have a great story about what drew them into estate planning. And that's what I started to learn and I just tapped into, because in that regard, just alone in that, we're the same. We love to help people. We're trying to make an impact in the world. So that was the low-hanging fruit that connected us. And that's what I worked to connect on. And I now look forward to hearing those stories from those attorneys. So that it helps the communication level. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, because you talked about the law firms being open and then just not yet calling. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And you won't always know until the relationship grows, but it's usually a volume issue. They just don't have enough volume to support you. And the other big thing is that they already have a way of doing things, and a mobile notary jacks that up. So it takes a little bit of an adjustment to get them in. And what you eventually can grow into is having someone in their office. Maybe it's them, maybe it's their receptionist, maybe it's their paralegal. At some point, you have an advocacy conversation and they start to advocate for your services. And this happened with one of my big title escrow clients. Is I was just getting these trickle of calls. They're closing hundreds of loans a month, but I'm just getting a couple every week. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I'd bring lunch into the office and I'd hear them on the phone. I'm like, they're telling people to come into the office. So I had to start educating them about how convenient it is for a mobile notary. I had to let them know really what it was is that I want to go. They had in their minds that it was an inconvenience for me to go out there. Who wants to drive to Buckeye? Do send me to Buckeye, send me to Casa Grande, send me to Flagstaff. I'll go anywhere. And gradually that started to shift their mentality. So then they started saying, hey, I can send a mobile notary to you, or you could get a babysitter, take time off of work and come into the office. So there's that little bit of a shift. And it's tough because we're in this place where we're doing a literal paradigm shift with the legal, as these ecosystems between notaries and attorneys merge. So we're in that kind of rough patch. So we have to be educators more than anything else right now, because we got to show them the possibilities. Francis, I hope that's helpful. We went 2 minutes past the hour. Is that helpful? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Laura, thank you so much. I know you just had your lunch hour with us. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate that. Dashika Hill, thank you so much for carving an hour or 62 minutes out of your day for us as well. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And Beth, thank you for being here with us. Beth from Notary Stars. Check out notarystars.com. And Beth is going to be with us all month long, the entire month of May, building up for the National Notary Association's annual conference in Scottsdale. Guys, there's still workshop tickets available for that. So if you want to see us in Scottsdale, please, if you're in the Arizona already, check this out. There's still seats available at nationalnotary.org. Hopefully we'll see you there. Have a great week. See you same time. Well, no, I'm really on vacation next week. I was wrong last week. Next week I'm on vacation, but Laura, Dashika, and Beth will be here with you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Yes.